Hey guys, welcome to this next lesson. Today we're going to be working mainly with textures. And those textures are what are going to give us those main details for our final illustration. So what we're going to do now is focus on the brushes. And on those brushes, the dissolve mode is the main one we're going to use. As I was saying earlier on, we're going to try to complete the rest of the silhouettes we have to do with the light source we've generated with that light blue tone. We still have to add in Juliet as well, can't forget that, to finish our design. And well, little by little, we're going to go along filling in these spaces, using the right brushes that, for now, we're not going to change very much. I've gone on to use the brush. You can see I have selected in the brush panel. I haven't changed hardly. I'm still Carlotta from the block. And, well, as I was saying before in the lesson, I'm going to add in those roses using the colors we have established to give more of like a plant, floral feel to them. I can't find the word. It's like on the tip of my tongue, you know what I'm saying? More natural. We're going to give a more natural feel to the garden. Giving some more detail to the plants is something that's going to make the garden look like, a garden. Because that's where they are. Kind of. So we should focus some more on the elements that make up the garden. Not just the background silhouettes like palm trees or brushes, etc. I'm going to go along coloring using the Alt shortcut to use the dropper tool that selects the color that we're going to click on. And, well, it's just a question of completing the drawing using this method to fill it in with roses. Because who doesn't like roses, right? It's not really complicated. I'm just drawing like some circular blots. Just to finish them. And you don't have to fill in the entire illustration. We can just emphasize on the bottom part from where we're getting that secondary light that I've created. That would be enough, really. Okay. I'm going to try and darken a little bit the background that looks a little too bright to me. Using the brush here again. I'm going to increase the opacity a little bit. See how now we have much more depth and it looks much better. To me, at least. This is my opinion. You guys can do whatever you want. And from here, we're going to be adding in some small clouds at the back, maybe to decorate just a little bit. We don't have to fill in everything with clouds. We can compensate. Okay. I'm going to leave them like this. Just kind of evenly spread. Welp. Here we'd have the result in the background where we've applied all the necessary bits. Let's move on, for example, with the moon. We're going to add in some of that brush, those brush strokes, and we're going to erase a little bit of that brush because I got a bit too excited with that brush. With the texture eraser, as you can see up close, the dissolve layer and the layer with that dissolve effect gives us those tiny dots as a result where we've used them. I'm going to start with Juliet, who we'd forgotten. Oops. And I'm just going to go along generating the base silhouette as I've been doing with everything, and then I'll put in some texture with the brush. Okay. You can see that I've also drawn her stretching out her hand. Later on, I'll remove the part on top to see how the silhouette's looking, and if I don't like it, I'll change it or whatever. I don't know. We can go along adjusting it little by little. She also has a bit of a twiggy arm, but, you know, oh well. Okay, I'm going to get rid of any excesses. And now I'm going to continue. I have to put in a little bit of detail in the dark areas so we can see that it's a person. The thing is, I'm a bit messy sometimes when I'm working. I'm trying to pay attention to a lot of things, so I don't finish one thing and then go on to another. I'm kind of bouncing from the background to the character, to the texture, to erasing. Just bouncing all over the place, man. I don't focus on one thing, so I'm sorry if that's making you guys a bit dizzy. I'm sorry if you don't like it. I really am. I'm going to start on these details. And in this case, we can see Juliet's face, but oh well, I'm not going to give her eyelashes or lips or anything like that. I'm going to give her some eyes and a nose and a mouth and stuff, just so we can see that she has a human face. And not a Zorgon face. So this is pretty much what she's going to look like. Really simplified and flat, you know. Alright, so the only thing left to do would be to add some textures onto Juliet. We're going to use the illumination the same way we did with Romeo. I'm going to put in those blue lines where that light source, you know, is giving us to give them this kind of look. You can see it just changes the drawing completely. It looks great. Now we're going to go on to the secondary lighting. That's going to be in a fuchsia, like a pink, so like a brighter pink. This way it looks much better. We're going to hit dissolve so we can apply even more of a spread with the brush. Well, we're just going to go along adding in more details. I'm going to put some more in the dress, maybe. In the arms. We would have to do the part behind Juliet because it's a little... Well, the background behind Romeo looks much cooler, so I'm going to have to do the same work. A little bit more, the one behind Juliet. It would be boring if I didn't. And also, like, she deserves more. Her family's not too great, you know. She dies. I'm just going to try and get the right color. I can't find it. Maybe I should have saved it. Oops. It's not this one. All these layers. Okay. I'm going to leave it like this, more or less. I want it to be a little fuchsia as well, like with the characters. I'll try not to go too over the top. Can't promise anything, though. If I have to, I'll use a darker color to give it some shape. So instead of roses, I'm going to add in like a kind of wall plant, like a climbing plant, you know? So I don't repeat like the same pattern. And behind, I'm going to place the door that she probably came out of. I mean, Juliet's badass, but she didn't climb the wall. Or did she? So close up, you can see that it loses all that detail. For that reason, you want like a group. You want it all in general to look nice from far away. It's not a super elaborate illustration to see each and every hair of the drawing, you know. And well, this will be the last part of this lesson. We would have to touch up a little bit if we need to. And this will be the end result. We just have to add in the text, etc. And then I'll put in a mock-up to show it with, much more detail. See you guys in the next lesson. Bye.